The anime opens in a peaceful village, suddenly thrown into chaos as monsters descend upon it. Among the panic, a nameless young boy is entrusted by the village elders with a vital task: to escort the children to safety while the rest of the villagers prepare to fight. As he leads the frightened children toward a distant cave, their path is blocked by a monstrous centipede. In a horrifying moment, it devours one of the children. The boy draws his sword, but his attacks are futile, unable to scratch the beast's armored skin. The centipede attacks again, and in a moment of courage, one of the children sacrifices himself, begging the boy to protect his younger sister. The boy carries the girl to the cave, but she soon succumbs to the centipede's poison. He returns to the village only to find it destroyed, the people slain. Days later, a man named Skiers arrives to find the boy, the sole survivor, digging graves. When asked what he's doing, the boy simply says he's burying the villagers. After days of labor, he collapses from exhaustion, and Skiers offers him food and starts a conversation. The boy reveals his dream, not revenge, but to create a world where people smile, free from the endless wars between kingdoms. Skiers throws him a sword, declaring that a weapon is necessary to change the world, then suddenly attacks to test his resolve. Each blow from Skiers challenges the boy, pushing him physically and emotionally. The boy, thinking this might be a harsh lesson in survival, pleads for him to stop, but Skiers insists on forging strength through pain. Though hesitant, the boy begins to fight back, and each clash of swords reveals a hidden will inside him. When Skiers finally strikes a shallow cut across his face, something awakens in the boy. Inspired by Skiers' relentless pressure, the boy finally declares his goal: to become the next King of Darkness, and attacks with newfound strength. He disarms Skiers, who, smiling through his final breaths, reveals he had recently challenged the King of Darkness and lost. Naming the boy his successor, he dies. Far away in the Kingdom of White, Queen Iris leads her forces against a growing threat in the skies: monsters tied to dark power. Fearing the King of Darkness will grow too powerful, she orders a military buildup. Meanwhile, an elf named Valas sees Skiers' sword in the boy's possession and attacks him, demanding answers. After the boy reveals Skiers' death, Valas, surprised by his weakness, questions his motives. The boy expresses his vision of an ideal world worth fighting for. Moved by his conviction, Valas kneels and recognizes him as the true Prince of Darkness, taking him to Skiers' former mansion. In the capital of the Kingdom of White, Queen Iris hears of an attack on the western capital by a monstrous being named Baal. She rushes to battle, but Baal proves far stronger than expected, brushing off her attacks even when she channels the power of the ancient rune. Despite the queen's powerful offensive, Baal grows bored and retreats after causing destruction. Elsewhere, Valas brings books to the Prince of Darkness, choosing knowledge over brute training. As days pass, the prince learns quickly and matures. Valas then gifts him Skiers' old clothes. Meanwhile, Groza, another potential heir to the Dark Throne, fights off monsters with ease, but is saved by the prince during a surprise attack. Grateful, she invites him to compete for the Great Sword of Black, the symbol of succession. The Prince of Darkness, Groza, and Adele travel to the Kingdom of White, concealing his identity. Adele acts as envoy and delivers a message of peace to Queen Iris, requesting an alliance against Baal. The queen remains skeptical, suspecting manipulation, but the prince reassures her, distinguishing himself from the current King of Darkness. The next morning, she agrees to the alliance after realizing it could prevent mass bloodshed. To determine the rightful heir to the Dark Throne, a contest begins. In the first trial, contestants face powerful monsters. One mage falters, and the prince saves her, drawing confused looks from others. A monstrous foe appears, stronger than the rest, and the prince defeats it, but is attacked from behind. Adele intervenes to stop the ambush. Disappointed by the prince's compassion, Adele challenges his right to rule, but the prince insists their swords will decide. In a tense duel, Adele presses forward, but the prince's calm defense prevails. Disarmed, Adele refuses to yield, but the prince finally bests him. Groza declares the prince the rightful heir and grants him the Great Sword of Black. Shortly after, Valas assigns the prince as an envoy to Queen Iris. Meanwhile, Baal arrives in the Kingdom of Darkness. Valas and Groza develop a strategy, but Baal overpowers their units. The King of Darkness joins the battle and momentarily holds Baal at bay. Queen Iris arrives and binds Baal with her white chains, allowing the King of Darkness to seal him. Exhausted, she retreats to recover. A new ship from the Dark Kingdom arrives, proposing an extension to the truce. Queen Iris agrees and hosts the prince during the visit. Their relationship deepens, arousing jealousy in both Groza Groza and Phaeos. Before the prince departs, Adele tries to assassinate the queen. The prince intervenes and kills Adele, but the act results in his imprisonment. Queen Iris watches helplessly as he is taken away. In his cell, a flash of light reveals a white cat that opens the door. It leads him to a crystal chamber where Queen Iris waits. The prince embraces her and reaffirms his promise to reshape the world. Saying goodbye to the love he found, he leaves. As the truce ends, the queen defends her realm against more dark monsters, and the prince, now back in the Kingdom of Darkness, is denied entry to the palace. He trains with Valis and reflects on the world's cruelty. Suddenly, Groza brings news of savage monsters threatening the borders. Together, they defeat several creatures, but Groza falls from a cliff during an ambush. The prince saves her, and soon a red beast appears. After a struggle, he kills it. Meanwhile, Phaeos retrieves a magical drop to heal the queen, who had collapsed from exhaustion. The monster's defeat comes just in time. The queen regains her strength as the prince sees a massive army advancing on the Kingdom of White. The queen faces the army, determined to keep her promise. The King of Darkness uses dark mana to corrupt white soldiers, turning them against each other. As she struggles, the queen attempts to use the rune's power, but the king dodges and strikes her. She activates the Gear of Fate, hoping to change the outcome, but nothing happens. The prince rushes to the queen, only to find Adele alive again in a monstrous form. Adele reveals the king's plan to kill both him and Groza and tries to finish him off. After an intense battle, the prince defeats Adele, but not before being gravely wounded. Adele's attack was merely to delay him, giving the King of Darkness time to conquer White. Groza distracts the monsters so the prince can continue, but he lacks a ship. At that moment, black wings emerge from his back, and he soars toward the queen. As the queen prepares to seal the king using the rune's light, the prince carves a path through monsters. A great earthquake splits the kingdom. Seeing the destruction, Valis retreats. The prince catches the queen as she falls, but the kingdom crumbles around them. In a final clash, the prince sacrifices himself to kill the King of Darkness, fulfilling his promise to change the world and protect the one he loved.